Three normal home cooks have each been given an ingredient that in the past they have called boring. Because today we want them to create a dish where every element uses that boring ingredient. And the beauty is each of those hero ingredients can be bought for less than £1.
My hero is the cauliflower, and I'm going to be making a cacophony of cauliflower. Imagine a chicken fried cauliflower steak on top of a beautiful cauliflower puree, a little cauliflower salsa, plus some pickled cauliflower. You're going to get a little bit close to what I might be making.
I think I've got the burden of having the easiest ingredient because I've got onions. They are hugely versatile and you can already kind of play with the different flavour profiles by how you cook them. But I'm going to make a big, deep fried blooming onion with a creamy onion and wild garlic sauce, pickled onion petals, and a burnt onion gel.
Today my hero will be lettuce, and I'm not going to make a salad. The tricky thing with lettuce is it's relatively flavourless because it's 95% water, but I see that as an opportunity to inject flavour into it and celebrate all the textures it can bring.
Boys, I love how we're not finding problems, we're finding challenges.
Challenges and solutions, although I still have no idea what you're doing, Barry.
I have a lettuce puree as a base, I'm making a crispy lettuce sushi and a lettuce pickle.
So my first step is cauliflower prep. And we're prepping it in a number of different ways. We're going little florets for pickling, we're going bigger florets, we're going for a steak, and we're also going for cauliflower rice.
You also have an entire bowl of cauliflower leaves.
Yeah, I want to see how I can use those. The leaves can be quite bitter, so I might fry them along with my chicken fried cauliflower steak, and I'm going to try and use the stalky bits in the pickle as well.
Great.
Currently, playing a game of Pass the Parcel with lettuce. There's a lot of layers, and I'm using every layer for a different reason. The outer shells will be part of my sushi. The inner layers will be more for my pickles, and I still want to get a core out, something with a bit more structure, because I want to char that at the end as well.
Okay, so I've got butter and sliced onion slowly almost poaching in a pan, because that's going to be the base of my onion sauce, which I'm going to whiz up with a little bit of cream or water depending on how rich it actually is, and at the very last minute throwing in wild garlic and chives. So I'm hoping it looks greener than all the other brown stuff that I'm using. Now I've got a variety of loose onions that I bought, some big ones. Going to need one of these for my blooming onion, which is essentially going to be the fried, crispy, but also sweet, tender centerpiece. And then I've picked up some smaller onions, which will be chopped. I'll use the petals for the rest.
I like it when you boys take inspiration from other stuff we've done on the channel. It's good to see. Blooming onions, we had a gadget for that. Barry, lettuce soup. That came out of a scrap challenge.
I do not want to go through the root.
Starting with my pickles, I'm adding vinegar, water, sugar and salt into a pan, bringing it up to a heat so it all dissolves. I'm then going to split that into 3 different bowls, one with paprika, one with turmeric and one with red cabbage juice, so I can get different colours from my pickles.
We now have an onion. It's been cut into 12 pieces, maybe more.
What's really fun about this challenge is that these ingredients, stuff that we're really used to using on a daily or weekly basis, but they're never the star of the show. They're always kind of the side piece. It's really nice to think that I'm not just going to make a cauliflower cheese to go on the side of a roast dinner. The cauliflower is the star.
The 2 things I've started, the first process is to remove the water. One way I'm doing it with salt, the other with a bit of heat. Wilting this down, I'm going to squeeze out the rest of the water from the lettuce before blending it and thickening it with some smash.
So now essentially I'm going to batter this. I'm putting it in buttermilk and then into a flour mix of potato starch, cornstarch and regular flour. The potato and the cornstarch are basically going to make it super, super crispy. So I've seasoned the flour with salt, pepper and a little bit of chili powder, just so there's another sort of dimension, a little bit of warmth.
Moving on to my puree, I'm taking some of my cauliflower florets, adding that into a pan with milk, chicken stock, bringing that up to a boil, simmer it away for a few minutes, it goes nice and soft. Puree it up, that's the thing, puree it up, and then go in with some browned butter just to give it that lovely, rich, velvety, smooth texture that I want.
Talk us through your tartare-like ingredients.
It is very tartare-like, isn't it, actually? So it's going to be a cauliflower salsa. So we've got gherkins, capers, dill, parsley, and some chives. Going to go in with my grated cauliflower, turn that into a bit of a salsa with some olive oil and a bit of salt.
A raw cauliflower rice, inverted commas?
Going raw. Everything else for the cauliflower is being cooked, so it's a nice point of difference.
Coated onion now goes into the fryer. Now we're going low, so around 160, so it cooks through. Then I'm going to whack it up to 190 to get that beautiful brown fried colour.
Lots of structure, lots of movement. You're about halfway through on time. Baz, what's next?
Right, with the lettuce, we've got some garlic, some ginger, some soy, and some Korean red pepper flakes as well. That's the final bit of kick to bring all the other elements to life. Now, sushi. I want to do a lettuce roll, but the one dish where lettuce is really celebrated, in fact it makes one of the three main ingredients, is a BLT.
Yeah.
So I'm making BLT sushi.
Sushi being Japanese for seasoned rice.
a BLT summer roll.
There we go.
One perk to working at Sorted that you wouldn't know is the longer you're here, the better you are at never have I ever. Because before today, never had I ever blowtorched lettuce.
So all I'm doing is stirring some cauliflower.
I'm trying to blowtorch my lettuce.
Everyone's doing a pickle of sorts. Mike, what are yours?
So mine is a quick pickle with malt vinegar, but this could be a very brown dish. So I'm actually using some beetroot juice in the pickle to give it a bit of a pinkish, hopefully vibrant red tinge.
All I'm doing here is the same thing I was doing earlier on the hob, but with the heat from the top. I'm just wilting it to go soft, limp, so it rolls up and doesn't crack.
That's looking good. My blooming onion's looking good. Just wilting some wild garlic down in a pan, because I'm going to add that to my stewed onions with a little bit of maybe water, maybe cream to create that really delicious sauce. Believe it or not, that's actually what I wanted to happen, because if there were too much liquid in here, I would be in big, big trouble.
In a vegetable.
Oh, no.
Yeah, good lettuce was.
Has both is excellent.
Oh, God, I love that puree. It's amazing.
Nothing boring about lettuce and cauliflower when you treat them properly. Jay, you've got all the component parts except for your steak. How are you cooking your cauliflower steak?
Deep frying my cauliflower steak. I was going to do it in a separate pan, but now it's just going to go straight into the fryer. I just need to set up a breading station and then get it straight into the fryer.
Now I'm about to scorch some more onion for my onion and black garlic puree.
Nice.
So I want these to proper char, because the char and the black garlic in that gel is going to taste fantastic. And again, it gives a different profile to the oniony flavour that's going to come throughout. So hopefully the char, the acrid, the black garlic with the cream, the crisp, the jam, it all comes together to actually create quite a balanced dish, even though I am only using onions for most of it.
My filling, I've got sliced up lettuce, some convalescent bacon, bit of tomato paste and some Kewpie mayo. Almost like a burger sauce filling.
A little bit more. Yes, that's exactly what I want. That's exactly it. I am very happy with that. So it's going to keep warm in the oven.
Turns out Mike already had a breading station ready to go, so I've nicked that, but obviously made it better. So into the buttermilk I've gone with an egg and a bunch of seasonings, garlic powder, chicken powder, salt, pepper, smoked paprika. And then into the flour, I've gone with potato starch and then all of the same seasonings. Into the buttermilk, an egg mix, into the flour, give it a shake, repeat, into the fryer.
Look at that. Now these are blackened really nicely. I'm going to deglaze the pan with some sherry vinegar and some honey. And then these will get pureed with some black garlic. Again, staying with the darker theme, adding a little bit of liquid in the form of balsamic and maybe a bit of water if it's needed. This should be almost jelly-like, so hold its form.
Last 5 minutes to start thinking about getting all your component, humble ingredient parts on a plate.
Okay, it's plating time. I need to clear right down so that I have space.
I want it to look fancy, and I don't do fancy very well, but I'm going to give it a try. I've made a puree, that's quite fancy, so that's going in the middle. As a bed, I think salsa all around, cauliflower steak on top with my kind of, what are now kind of pakora-esque chiffonades.
It's amazing how these shift mid-cooking, isn't it?
I think that's everything.
I'm panicking, right. So, last few minutes, time to plate up. Got a little bit more time to char off some of the lettuce in some mayonnaise. Sprinkle it with some crispy onions on the end. So I've got all the texture going on then. Happy, 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 that looks beautiful, happy with that. Now, let's see if my sushi will hold together.
Last 2 minutes. Mike, you need to get this stuff on a plate.
Okay, I hope that this is pipeable. We are going to find out, everyone, but I'm putting it into a little piping bag.
That looks great, Mike. Last minute, get everything on a plate, get the finishing touches done.
I think I'm done. Stop.
I think that's it,
Oh no, it's just, it's dripping everywhere.
Go on, mate.
5,
what a
4,
shame.
3, 2, 1. Step away. We'll have a quick clear down. and get them into the sexies.
This is again one of those battles that I haven't looked at a single thing you guys are doing.
I've made the same puree.
Well done, gents. Because out of very boring and beige ingredients, we've got a lot of interesting colour and texture and variety, and that was the key.
And a caveat, I think we've called these things boring in the past because we don't know much to do with them.
Yeah.
And so this has forced us to go and research what can be done, and we've all pretty much done the exact same thing with our own ingredient.
Give or take. Let's start down here. So, lettuce many away.
Oh yeah, this is lettuce.
Lots of ways.
It's quite wet, as you
Yeah.
would expect of a dish based around lettuce.
I'm annoyed at how wet it is. I think I would like more
You
time.
used something called iceberg.
I know, but in my head I had more time to dry things out. I did lots of draining. I got so much water out of it, but still in coming to plate it in a rush. I think
Shut up.
Because you don't need to say what you're saying, because it still has great texture.
Oh, thank you.
Whilst
Good.
it is wet, it's still got good crunch all the way through it, where it needs it. So that is incredibly spicy and salty, but with the creaminess of the sort of puree around it, delicious. And the play on BLT, tomato puree, lettuce and bacon in that wrap is absolutely delicious. Crispy onions makes everything better.
Really good.
I think it's very clever and very tasty. Really good. I like the pastel colours that are coming off this. It's very herby, it's very fresh, and then the colour of your fried steak in the middle is great, providing the cauliflower is cooked, because there's lots of raw cauliflower. Cheers.
Is it cooked?
That is luck, not judgment.
No, it is beautifully cooked. That puree is
Wow.
velvety. Your brown butter in that, and all the dairy fat is great.
In the nicest possible way, doesn't taste the cauliflower. You get cauliflower coming through, but it's got so much else going on.
That's a great dish.
Baz and I have been exchanging glances, and
I hate
I
these
don't know
moments.
whether I'm speaking for you, but I think that's the best thing you've cooked
In
that
a
I
long
can
while.
remember.
I wasn't going to be that rude.
And I can remember up to next Thursday. Last Thursday. I can't even remember days.
A great dish. And then we come to this.
Yeah.
And the challenge with this is that a blooming onion is one of my favourite things on the planet. So you
I didn't
can
know that.
only disappoint that, right? Again, two different purees.
Wow, that's crunchy.
Got a crunch.
It's got a crunch from the batter and the outer petals, but it's got a wonderful, almost jammy-like middle,
Yes.
which is so sweet in that roasted onion in the middle. Even though roasted, it's fried, but
That is banging.
I mean, the only challenge is it's such a big onion
Yeah.
that I think picking off petals works. I think once you get down to the real base of it, that's still a little under, but balanced with the crispiness of that batter, which was a difference of flours, right? Was it?
Yeah.
Take the
It's
potato
a combination, yeah. Corn, potato, reg.
I think for me, the reality of the dishes is the different levels of cooking and curing and pickling. For that, I'm still left with quite an overpowering raw onion flavour. But with everything else, if you eat it all together, it does work.
I really
Three
like
great dishes. Some of the chaos and mess aside, some of the best cooking you three have done for a long time. I think that is standout.
Are you just taking credit for you and the mentors?
No, I'm taking credit for the fact I think you've thought about this and you've come in with a plan because you've been forced out of your comfort zone to do something that you would normally overlook.
But who's come last?
I think in third place today, but it's not far from first, is the blooming onion. And I think it is just that raw wild garlic and chive that's coming through a little bit too much against everything else, but it's good. And between these two, I have one that's perhaps more predictable, but delivered with excellent technique. And I have one that's completely out of the box and I think smarter, but could be improved in places. So today, my winner is excellence.
It has to be.
It has to be. It's absolutely delicious. And cauliflower has never been so loved.
Well, if you enjoyed any part of that, then give the video a like. We're still streaking 15,000 likes on every video. And comment down below which dish would have taken your win today.